The home of former President Andrew Jackson sits on more than 1,100 acres in the middle of Hermitage. Inside, French wallpaper chosen by Jackson's wife Rachel still covers the walls. Some of President Jackson's handwritten notes lay on a table in the library. Furniture dating back to the early 1800s in every room. Many historians consider this to be the most well-preserved early U.S. presidential home. Thousands of people visit the Hermitage, but when the crowds leave...
I was working late one evening, and down the hall was Jackson's carriage at the time. All of a sudden, in my peripheral, I saw this white flash, and I didn't think anything of it. I mean, the next day, I got an email from a guest of ours that had come here, a tourist, and they sent me a picture, and it was a picture of the carriage from the day before. And they said, you might want to check this out. And it was a picture of the carriage, but in the paint, you saw the outline of, it looked like Rachel's face.
Rachel Jackson died right after her husband won the presidential election in 1828. He had a tomb built in her garden and is buried beside her. But legend has it General Jackson came back to check on his home years after he died in 1845.
One of my favorite stories is from the late 19th century, 1890s, when a couple of board members came out here to kind of watch out for the house. We're spending the night here, literally sleeping on the floor. And on, well, they call it their pallets. They're sleeping in the parlor in their pallets. And the house is empty. And
all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, they heard this loud sound coming from the pantry, and it sounded like dishes breaking one after another, over and over and over. And they got up startled and ran into the pantry, but nothing had happened. Legend says that the plate started breaking again. It started getting really loud, and then all of a sudden they heard the sound of horses' hooves, and it got louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden, the front door and the back door of the hallway burst open, and they could hear the voice of Andrew Jackson saying, "What are you doing in my home?"
So does Andrew Jackson still roam the grounds of the Hermitage? Now that you've heard some of the stories, you'll have to come see for yourself. But not just because it's October, because this is a rich part of Nashville's history. I'm Cherish Lombard reporting for News 2.